Episode of Tom Talk Live. I'm so glad I just put in a new AC system for 65-degree weather edition. I want to do a Tom Talk shout out to the Newton Office of Emergency Management. Emergency management is a vital function involving all department levels of local government. Each department takes part in efforts to prepare for, respond to, mitigate, and recover from all types of dangerous or hazardous situations. For more information on the Newton Office of Emergency Management, please visit newtonoem.org today. We still have about a month left in the Newton pool season. Make sure you take advantage of this amazing amenity. Unfortunately, National Night Out was rained out this year, but preparations are already underway for 2025. Our next music concert at the college will be Saturday, August 10th, and next movie night at Memory Park will be Friday, August 23rd. Tickets are currently available for purchase for the annual Taste of Newton event on Trinity Street, Central Plaza Lot 4, Monday, September 9th. Hope to see you there. Rain or shine, any problems, blame Tamron. In the last episode of Tom Talk Live, we had Debbie Danielson, our favorite recycling coordinator and DPW administrative czar. Today we continue our flagrant attempt for high ratings, social media influence, and tons of cool Newton OEM swag by speaking with the head of the Newton OEM department, an overall super nice guy, Detective Sergeant Dan Finkle from the Newton Police Department. Great to have you on our program today, Dan.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here. And thank you to my fans.
Tell us exactly, what do you do for a living?
Well, as you mentioned, I work for the Newton Police Department. I'm a police officer there. I'm a detective sergeant. That means that I'm the supervisor, essentially, in the detective bureau. So, work on crimes, solving crimes, and assisting the frontline officers doing their job.
And how long have you been in your current position, and what did you do prior to?
I've been in the detective bureau as a supervisor for a couple of years now. Prior to that, I served as a patrolman, a patrol sergeant, a detective. Also, before that, even I worked as a dispatcher in our dispatch center, so worn a bunch of hats.
And how did your upbringing impact the choices you made with your education and career?
Oh, my upbringing. Well, I would say, so my upbringing, I grew up here in Newton, and my parents raised me here, and I was part of the community just like everybody else. And I think that had a big influence on it because after 9/11, actually, I felt compelled to do something in public service, especially. I kind of always wanted to be a police officer, wasn't really sure if it was attainable really, but after 9/11 really cemented me, like, this is what I want to do. And so right after that, my friend's father, kind of convinced us to join the Newton Fire Department. And that's really the first step that I took into public service. Went to the fire academy, and I learned a lot of new skills. I got some great mentors from the fire department. That led me to a job in dispatch, which led me to a job in the police department. So it all kind of worked out.
And if you could go back in time and give advice to the younger version of yourself, what advice would you give and why?
I would go to college right after high school because I'm trying to do that now, finish all my classes on nights and weekends, and it's not so easy now as a parent and wearing all different hats and things. It would have been much easier to do back when life was a little simpler, so I would have done that differently.
What do you consider to be your greatest life or career achievement?
Definitely being a father. It's the greatest thing in the world. I just love it so much. Definitely the best thing, so biggest achievement.
If I could give you a do-over, what would be the one project, life decision, or choice you made that you would do over and why?
I would definitely do that college thing over. I would do that, hit that first, and get that out of the way, and then move on.
What was the most challenging experience you went through in your life, and how did you persevere?
So back when I was 33 years old, I was a new parent, working on getting promoted at work and different things that I had, life goals, and I got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. So that was a big challenge, and taking care of all the needs that I needed to do in terms of all my treatments and different things, juggling that with being a parent and having a professional career and all those things. That was a big challenge, but with the help of my family and friends, especially my beautiful wife Danielle, we were able to overcome that challenge and succeed in all those things. So.
All right, tell our viewers, what is a typical day like for you in the police department, and let's talk OEM too. So.
Sure. All right. Well, police department, typical day, come to work. Typically in the morning we'll have like a little briefing, essentially. I touch base with the other detectives in the Detective Bureau, Judy and Pete, see what's going on with their cases, see where they're at, different things that have come up maybe since overnight or over the weekend, whatever the case is. Talk to Justin Bellis, he's our SRO. I supervise him as well, so I see what's going on with the schools and see kind of where everybody's at, get kind of gauge things, touch base maybe with the chief or whatever we have to do in terms of that. Then I'll review reports, I review all the stuff before it goes out to go out to court and things like that. And on top of that, I do my own investigations, so I have my own caseload. I have, I work a lot with other agencies, so a lot of different things go on in the morning. So that's my typical day, is just kind of seeing where everybody's at, making sure that the people that I work with don't have any unnecessary obstacles to getting their jobs done. So that's what I do.
What about OEM? Anything on a typical day or week that you have to monitor or keep tabs on?
Yeah, I mean, we're always monitoring for any type of hazards that could affect the community at large. So typically that's like a weather event, big snowstorms or a hurricane coming, things like that. My job as the OEM guy is to make sure that our town remains ready to respond to whatever comes up, house fire or a traffic crash or whatever, as long as our emergency services are able to respond, and if our services are at max or overwhelmed, that I know how to bring in other resources from the federal, state, county levels to assist us.
All right, tell us about the client base of the department. Who does the PD serve in the Detective Bureau and in OEM? Who are your clients?
Well, the PD serves everybody. I mean, anybody that is in our town, whether you live here, you work here, you go to school here, you're just traveling through on the roadways, you're bound to see us out there in the community, interact with us in some way. So we kind of serve everybody, and we help people with their problems, no matter what that problem happens to be, whether it's either like I said, a traffic crash or maybe a medical emergency or whatever is happening. We serve everybody. But in the Detective Bureau, we really focus on serving victims of crimes. So people that had needed police services, the officers kind of responded, took the initial investigation, and need more investigation to further that case and assist that victim. That's who we work for. We take a victim-centered approach in the Detective Bureau.
And since you started with the town, how have things evolved in the PD or OEM? What's different? What's the same?
On all fronts, it's busier. Definitely the call volume is much, much higher than it's ever been. But I'd say, there's a lot to do. There's a lot more reporting and administrative overhead for police work now. A lot of forms and all these things from Trenton and everywhere else that we have to do. But also technology has really changed a lot. We have a lot more technology at our disposal, which is great, but it's also can be overwhelming. So we really have to not only know how to use those resources, but be selective in the ones that we do use, so we don't bring in too much to overwhelm our operations. So it's a lot.
All right, tell our viewers, what's the difference between being a patrolman or a sergeant and being in the Detective Bureau, if they're not familiar?
Patrolman is like the frontline officer. So you call 911, that's who you're going to get is a patrol officer coming like a first responder, right? The first person there is going to come, assess the situation, find out what they have to do to get things under control, kind of find out the facts of the matter. That's the patrol officers do. They're like the first ones there, handle the day-to-day things. Versus a detective is going to be somebody that comes in afterwards and supports that patrolman in seeing that case to the end of the investigation.
Okay. I'm sure you've dealt with interesting cases. So what can people in Newton do to protect themselves, their loved ones, their property in the most intelligent and legal manner?
I think it goes back to that community. I think you need to know your neighbors. I think it's really beneficial to have a good relationship with your neighbors, talk to them, because who knows what's going on in your neighborhood better than you and your neighbors, right? So you're also your first line of defense when things do go wrong. If you're not home, your neighbor can call the police or whatever else. So I think knowing your neighbors is good. But you can also have like a preparedness mindset. Always be prepared and wonder, like, okay, if I do need to call 911, for example, like what should I expect, or what am I ready to handle, like things that happen. So if you call 911, are you registered for Smart 911? Smart 911 is a great system that gives the dispatcher that answers that call a lot of information about you that you want to provide that could be useful in an emergency. So maybe you have a medical condition, you have insulin stored somewhere, or Narcan or something in your house that could be helpful in the case of an emergency that the dispatcher should know about and can assist you with. Registering for Smart 911 is a way to prepare for those emergencies. Preparedness is big, thinking of ways to be prepared. But I think those are important things.
Quick question, I'm going to deviate. Do you find a lot more people have cameras and, outside or Ring doorbells or those kinds of devices? Are you finding that?
Yeah, super helpful, but they're super helpful after the fact, right? If something happens in the neighborhood, we're going to be looking for any type of evidence when we do a canvas. So we're going to be looking for things like Ring doorbells and things like that to assist us in our investigation. But that's also no substitute for having that relationship with your neighbors ahead of time, and having that sort of proactive approach to things, and be prepared as well before things happen.
What do you think makes Newton a great employer or place to volunteer?
Well, I started with Newton as a volunteer with the fire department. I loved being on the fire department here because it's very unique to Sussex County. You have a broad range of things that kind of fall under what you respond to. So, for example, other places in the county may be a little bit more rural, right? So you might get like, a house fire or a hay fire, right, in the hay fields, but you're not going to have like a high-rise building. Whereas here, we have that. We have the hay fires, we have all the house fire, but we also have big structures here. We have the college here. We have the hospital. We have a lot of hazards in town that aren't necessarily found other places in the county. So that gave me an opportunity to learn a lot of different things that I probably wouldn't have had an opportunity to otherwise in other places in the county. So I love volunteering here. And it's also because I grew up here, so it's a way for me to give back to the community. Working for the town, I love working for the town. I've been very grateful for the career that I've had here. But I think it's a lot of it comes down to the people that we work with. I love the people that work here. Close personal friends that they've become over the years, but also great professionals here, really dedicated to the town. And the support that you get working here, opportunities for training and education that to support you in being a better employee and more productive employee actually turn out to be better for you as the employee as well. So I've had a great experience working here.
Now, you've mentioned community a lot. Why is that so important to you, and why should people give back?
I mean, it's part of who I am, right? Like I grew up here, and I grew up, my parents raised me in our household, but everybody in the community also contributed to who I am. So everybody from, my teachers in school, my neighbors, the people that I worked with at Acme, even the people that you see like going to the Main Street grocery, Mr. and Mrs. Decker, you're behind the counter there. Like everybody knows each other here, and we're all part of each other's successes. So it's important to have that fabric of the community because it helps each other succeed. It's good for me to live in a community, but it's also great for everybody in the community to have me. It's a two-way street. You gotta help each other.
Are there other police departments or emergency management operations that you admire or follow? Who inspires you?
I tend to like agencies that they don't really settle for like mediocrity. So I like when they push new technologies. I like technology, but that's not the only thing. But it's new technologies and bring them into making their operations better and improving things all the time. So, for example, I'm big into drones right now, right? So all the UAS stuff going on in the country with drones as first responders, and I look at places like Chula Vista, California, Pearland, Texas, even NYPD right now is really becoming one of the preeminent drone as first responder agencies, and they're using technology, things at our disposal to make their existing operations better and use them wisely in a way that has a great impact on the residents there. So I like agencies like that really kind of push the envelope and try to always be better and improve. And I mean, those are some of the ones that come to mind.
All right, some fun questions for Sergeant Dan.
Okay.
If aliens landed in front of you and in exchange for anything you desired, offered you any position on their planet, what would you want and why?
I would love to be like the interplanetary ambassador. I would love to teach them all about where we came from and learn about where they came from and kind of build a relationship and bridge that gap and try to hopefully get along with those aliens.
If you had to be shipwrecked on an island, but all your human needs were taken care of, what 2 items would you want to have with you and why?
Oh, all right. I would say, well, I would bring a laptop computer because I love learning. I love being in touch with people. So I think that that would help me with that. I'd probably bring my Avata drone. I think just something fun to keep me occupied.
Favorite cartoon?
Well, I'm stuck in the '90s, so I would say maybe the Ninja Turtles and Leonardo.
Wow.
Big sword,
Favorite food?
Mom's Chicken Farm. Best ever.
Mom's Chicken. Favorite movie?
Office Space. Not that I really done this.
Yeah. Favorite superhero?
Superhero. Would say. Yeah, the Ninja Turtles. Come on.
I thought your answer was going to be Kenny Teets.
Oh, well, come on. I think it says big enough.
Favorite sports team?
Newton Braves. Come on.
All right. And favorite musical band or act?
Taking Back Sunday. 90s band. Great 90s band.
And tell us what you love about the town of Newton.
I love a lot about it. I love the history of the town of Newton. I haven't mentioned that, but I love the fact that there's so much history that people don't even know about in this town, going back to before we were even the United States, right here in town, that you can walk around and see today. I love the history of this area, but Newton in particular is it's pretty cool.
All right, thank you, Dan, for being a good sport and legendary guest on Tom Talk Live. That's a wrap. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram for further updates on Town of Newton events, happenings, and more. Russo out.